So, you want to know what really happens when you enter flow state? Great. Well, let me tell you, brother. It's not just work-obsessed individuals that can achieve the flow state. It's actually simple for anyone to achieve the flow state.
Things just slow down. Everything slows down and you just have supreme confidence.
Now, do yourself a favor. Put this video full screen to avoid distractions and give me your full attention, because this might just change your life, like it did mine. I won't just tell you what happens when you enter the flow state, but also how to tap into its power.
Remember those times where you were in your flow state, where you absolutely performed at a ridiculous level that you kind of surprised yourself almost?
Listen, dude, I'll be honest. For the past couple of months, everything has been crap. My attention span had been gone. I was procrastinating for days, weeks, months. I was doing the bare minimum like you do to just get by. Have you done this before? Have you experienced something similar? Fortunately, something happened. Something clicked. I was given something to do, and I actually did it. I started to study when I wasn't able to do this before. And that's when I discovered this. Considering how short my attention span had gotten in the past months, I didn't think I'd ever be able to achieve a level of dedication like that. But one day it happened. I found myself one with the task. My focus was so intense that everything else disappeared. Time passed, and hours later I realized that I was still working on this one task with my head down. It was as if every single cell in my body was working on this one thing. I knew exactly what I wanted to do next, and there seemed to be nothing stopping me. Everything that used to distract me before suddenly didn't matter. The voices in my head faded away. I wasn't feeling any pain. I wasn't feeling tired. I even forgot that I was hungry. It was just full focus. All I cared about was completing my work. It was unlike anything I had experienced before. Think of it as the last moments of a marathon. The finish line's in your view. Nothing in the world matters. Not the cheers from the crowd, not the sweat dripping down your face, and not the pain in your legs. It's simply about giving it your all and making it to the end. And you know what's really crazy? I came across Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Yes, you remember this guy from one of my previous videos. He's a psychologist, and according to this dude, our mind has the capacity to process around 120 bits of information per second when working at maximum activity, something that people can experience only when they're in the flow state, which is exactly what happened to me. Problems that seemed unsolvable before suddenly became clearer. It was like I had a bird's eye view of everything. But why exactly did experiencing the flow state feel so euphoric for me? Well, I wanted to learn more about this phenomenon, to be able to reproduce this state whenever needed. And I was surprised because this is actually super easy. We will get to this in a minute. But first, let me explain the science behind it. So I found out that according to neuroscientists, there are two brain networks responsible for the flow state: the default mode network, aka DMN, and the executive control network, aka the ECN. Now, I see two theories here. The first theory is that when the flow state is activated, the ECN takes over and guides the DMN to focus on the task you're doing. Simple, right? I read up on the second theory, and according to it, people who are experienced with something develop neural pathways in their brains. So during times of flow state, these pathways are activated while the ECN and DMN take a back seat. And the only way to strengthen these pathways is repetition. Basically, the more you engage in a certain activity, the higher your chances of attaining a flow state when performing that particular activity. But let me warn you, achieving flow state might need some practice, and not everyone might be able to get into this state. Why, you ask? Well, you need to meet certain conditions, which I am about to reveal next. The first condition is that you need to be passionate about the task, which makes sense. You can't expect to be fully immersed in something if you don't have passion coursing through your veins. Now, I ain't asking you to avoid things that aren't your style. I didn't like the thought of going to the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning, but I managed to think about how I wanted to look by the end of the year. And that's how I managed to create passion in myself. Have you ever managed to do something like that? Let me know in the comment section below. So brother, I know I'm getting a little theoretical here, but stay with me, because this will all make sense to you soon. The next condition I'm going to tell you about is a simple one, but hard to meet for many of us. It's about only focusing on the task at hand. I personally found this difficult as well, since I always have a million tabs open in my head, but I realized it can be hard to zero in on a task and give it your all when you have a lot on your plate. So what did I do? Well, I narrowed it down to one task and shifted all my focus to doing just that one thing. This way I was able to take my concentration to the next level. Oh, and don't think about the results. You should be like results. What's that? You see, it's always more about the journey. You won't meet an athlete who's only focused on getting the medal. They'll be more concerned about how to train every day and how to improve themselves. But again, I ain't saying you should completely ignore the rewards. We're human, man. It's in our nature to be motivated by rewards. We're a greedy species like that. And so it might be best to have clear goals. It's like a chess game. Do you think of anything else when you're knee-deep in a chess match, trying to come up with your next move? Of course not. The only thing that's on your mind is how to move the pieces and crush your opponent's strategy because you want to win. It's a clear goal that's easy to achieve if you put your mind to it, and that's pretty much how you can unlock flow state for yourself. It might sound logical to you, but keep in mind that even after meeting all those conditions, you may not achieve the flow state, at least not the first time. But don't worry. I'm going to tell you some additional secrets here. Let me tell you, I was missing out on a few key points myself, but I was able to get past it in no time. The first thing you need to realize is that you won't achieve a flow state when you're in a relaxed state of mind, which once again makes sense. Being relaxed tends to make most people lazy. I personally don't have the drive to work towards my goals when I am like that. I think Csikszentmihalyi said it best. According to him, the best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. And so remember, you need to feel a rush to access the flow state. The task you're planning on taking on shouldn't be too hard or too easy. They need to be realistic. The second thing you need to look out for is that even after achieving flow state, you may find it hard to maintain that state of mind. How do you fix that? Well, the secret lies in meditation and mindfulness. Now, I already see you rolling your eyes. I got you. But let me tell you, I didn't think meditation was all that at first either. But after I realized the benefits of meditating, I understood the reality of what I had been missing out on. By meditating, you essentially train your mind to be more present. It can also give you better control of your thoughts, which becomes essential when you're trying to focus on something. Usually it's our mind that's our biggest enemy. If you can make it your habit to meditate and practice mindfulness, you'll be basically training your brain to notice when you're distracted and return to your task. That's why they call the flow state a very active, moving meditation. Also, you should try your best to remove all distractions from your surroundings when you're working. Put your phone away and try wearing noise-canceling headphones. I think having a clean workspace also plays a great role. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why go through so much to achieve the flow state? Well, it's simply because of the number of advantages that you can unlock by experiencing this crazy sense of focus and concentration. I mean, better focus means you will perform better, right? So doing my research, I ran into this study published in the J Sports Med Physical Fitness, where a bunch of scientists got together and investigated a group of 188 tennis players, and I was blown away by what they found. You gotta check this out, brother. They discovered that people who were able to achieve the flow state were able to perform way better than other players. And in addition to that, with your thoughts in order, you'll feel less burdened by the mountain of work you have to do. You can say goodbye to all that nasty stress and self-doubt. More importantly, the more you achieve the flow state, the more you'll be able to create a pattern, and that's basically your ticket to secure a sense of well-being. And no, this won't be temporary. In fact, I was able to sleep like a baby for a couple of days thanks to flow state. Also, I found myself more in control of my emotions, which was mind-blowing because I have always been all over the place, you know? So, no shame if you're like that as well. You might also experience growth since people who get a taste of the flow state tend to chase that exhilarating feeling. And the only way to do that is to take on new challenges. Oh. And if all of this sounds good and you're really serious about how to turn your life around and make the greatest comeback ever, you should definitely check out this video.